Hello there, I'm a day late reviewing 2009's Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite is an action comedy homage to the 1970s blaxploitation genre of film. To those unfamiliar with blaxploitation, it is a genre of movies that were made on the cheap and aimed at young urban black audiences. The protagonists of these movies are black, and the stories were often about black empowerment. Movies like Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, Shaft, Superfly, Blackula, Trouble Man, Black Caesar, Blackenstein, Cleopatra Jones, Coffee, The Mac, The Spook Who Sat by the Door, Batman Bolt, Black Belt Jones, Foxy Brown, Dolomite, and Mandingo. These movies covered a wide range of genres, but often dealt with the urban black experience trying to overcome their poor circumstances, racism, and of course everybody's favorite villain, the Man. And Black Dynamite has all that and more. Our movie begins with a gathering of several street hustlers and members of the mob. The head mobster, Raffelli, tells the hustlers that if they do business with him, he will give them protection and access to as much product as they can sell. But first they have to deal with one of the three hustlers because he isn't who he purports to be.
Come on, you jive turkeys. What kind of rundown is this?
They kill him and leave the scene. Unbeknownst to them, however, is the fact that they just killed the brother of our protagonist, Black Dynamite. We are then introduced to our hero as he demonstrates his bona fides. Later, while practicing his kung fu, he gets a call from his aunt, who breaks the news. His brother Jimmy has been found dead, and now it's
Game on! Game on!
Next up, Jimmy's funeral. And if you didn't understand the flashback of a young Black Dynamite promising his mother that he would look after his younger brother, his aunt also drives the point home.
You promised your mama on her deathbed that you would look after Jimmy. Now he's dead.
Then we get a compatriot of his showing up with a shell casing that he found at the scene of Jimmy's murder. Back at his home, Black Dynamite gets a visit from an old partner of his in the CIA named O'Leary, who reminds him that he no longer has a license to kill and that they will be keeping an eye on him. Next up, he goes to a nightclub run by his friend Bullhorn. He asks Bullhorn if he knows any of the people that Jimmy had been running with. Bullhorn says that Jimmy had been hanging out with some scary-looking guys, and Creamed Corn was with him too. He then gives him the lowdown on Creamed Corn. Creamed Corn leads Black Dynamite to Chicago Wind. Chicago Wind isn't up for answering questions, and we get a nice fight sequence showing off some of Black Dynamite's moves. Not only that, Bullhorn shows up to help, and we get one of my favorite visual gags in the movie. Black Dynamite has a car chase with Chicago Wind that results in Chicago Wind's death, and this causes Raffelli to put a hit out on Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite then heads over to the local black militants to see if they have any information on the shell casing found by Jimmy's body. Sahid is an old friend and is more than happy to help out. The news isn't good. The shell casing is government issue. Black Dynamite then checks in with his old partner O'Leary. O'Leary tells him that Jimmy was working with him in the CIA and investigating Raffelli. Raffelli is the one supplying drugs for the street hustlers in the hood, and he has connections with a smooth-talking local politician by the name of Congressman James. O'Leary wants to know if Black Dynamite wants to help take him down, because if he does, O'Leary took the liberty of reinstating Black Dynamite's license to kill. Black Dynamite goes to his brother's apartment looking for clues, and Raffelli's goons are there waiting for him. They do manage to wound Black Dynamite before having to make an inept getaway. Black Dynamite then goes to the hospital to get patched up. The doctor admonishes him to find a safer line of work. We then get a real reason he is here. On the way out, Black Dynamite sees a sick child brought in and talks to the woman accompanying the boy. She works at a local orphanage and tells Black Dynamite that this is the third child to overdose in the last week. Black Dynamite is horrified as he was an orphan, and as he says,
"Ain't nothing in the world get Black Dynamite more mad than some jive-ass sucker dealing smack to the kids."
He then sees just how bad the problem is.
Bobby, stop it. You'll kick soon.
And he vows to help put an end to the problem. Sometime later at a meeting of pimps, they're grumbling about how the cops have been arresting their hoes faster than they can collect money. One of them decides that they need to form a union, and another says that pimpin' isn't getting the bills paid and that he's still going to sell drugs on the side. Black Dynamite shows up and then warns them, pimping is okay, but if you deal drugs, you'll have to deal with him and his crew. Creamed Corn offers to help Black Dynamite, saying that he owed it to Jimmy. Bullhorn shows up and says that they need to get to it.
Man, I think we should put our ankles in it.
We then get a montage of Black Dynamite and his crew waging war on the drug dealers, eventually leading to Raffelli's death. With the streets cleaned up, Black Dynamite spends some time with Gloria. They have a nice day when Gloria lays down the law with him.
I hope you don't think that you're going to get any of this cookie.
But she forgot who she was dealing with.
Now you can hit the sheets of the streets. It don't make me no never mind. Now that's your bag, baby. You can go or you could come. Can you dig it?
Afterwards, he gets a call from Bullhorn. They have read through the ledger they stole from Congressman James and have found information on where a big shipment is coming in. We then get a nice commando raid on the warehouse, and they manage to capture someone in charge. After giving him a shot of truth serum, he then tells them that it's too late to stop Operation Code Kansas, that it would fix all of the expletive deleteds. They then raid the second warehouse, but all they find are cases and cases of Anaconda malt liquor. They tear the place apart, but they don't find any more drugs. They're leaving, and one of the crew named Gunsmoke says that the malt liquor tastes good and that the other should have grabbed them a couple of cases just like he did. Later at a restaurant, they're talking about the lack of drugs at the warehouse when Bullhorn says something that causes Black Dynamite to start to piece things together. It's a very convoluted and funny trek to arrive to the man's plot. And by very complicated, I mean...
And as we all know, zodiacal astronomy was created by the Greeks in
785 BC. And 785 is the area code of Topeka. Oh my God. 785 is the area code to Topeka, Kansas. Go Kansas!
They eventually come to the conclusion that the man is drugging the malt liquor. They race back to the warehouse to stop the distribution of the malt liquor, and Black Dynamite finds out that his old partner is part of the operation. O'Leary admits that he was only a soldier and that he has taken orders from higher up. Black Dynamite then takes him out, and a call comes in on a walkie-talkie for O'Leary. It's his boss, and Black Dynamite's arch-nemesis, the fiendish Dr. Wu. Next up...
Fellas, we going on a boat ride to Kung Fu Island.
They quickly make their way to Dr. Wu's base, but once inside, things go bad for Black Dynamite's crew. Enraged at the loss of his friends, Black Dynamite makes short work of Dr. Wu's henchmen until the two face off. They trade blows for a while until Black Dynamite gets the upper hand and Dr. Wu makes a break for it. Black Dynamite catches up and cuts off one of Dr. Wu's arms. He then uses Dr. Wu's arm to beat him into submission. Dr. Wu admits that he is working for the U.S. government. Black Dynamite then gathers up Dr. Wu's papers that document the involvement of the White House, and he goes out to Dr. Wu's helicopter. He then flies to Washington, D.C. to confront the president. Black Dynamite makes quick work of the Secret Service and confronts the president. It's none other than Tricky Dick himself. Nixon does have an explanation.
Showtime, mother!
They have a rather involved fight scene, and Nixon actually does well at times, but let's face it, he's fighting Black Dynamite. He gets Nixon to surrender. Before he leaves, he delivers a monologue about how he will be there to deliver justice to evildoers everywhere. The end.
Excellent!
And there you have it, Black Dynamite. A very loving comedic homage to 70s blaxploitation films. In fact, the movie was shot on Super 16mm film stock to give it that graininess that was common in the 1970s low-budget films, and the story is played straight for the most part. So it probably wouldn't hurt to be a fan of the genre if you want to enjoy the movie. But for me, that's what makes the humor so good. It isn't just slapstick. It can be quite absurd and subtle at times. One such time is when an extra includes his stage instructions with his dialogue.
Well, let me speak to the man in charge.
Sarcastically, I'm in charge. I know.
Or like this scene.
Chicken and waffles? That's it!
In order to understand that joke, you need to know that there is a restaurant chain in Los Angeles area called Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I've never been there, but I do know of the chain thanks to the movie Tapeheads.
Yo, friends, check this out. Roscoe's the name, and they call me the king. Grandmaster chicken and the waffle thing.
The movie is hard to critique in that all the mistakes and amateurishness of the production is intentional. It is in keeping with the low-budget nature of the source genre. Ultimately, I judge this film on whether it succeeded in making me laugh or not, and in that case, huge thumbs up. This movie was made by fans of blaxploitation movies for fans of blaxploitation movies, and I for one can feel the love that went into it. It was directed by Scott Sanders, best known for Thick as Thieves, Black Dynamite, and Aztec Warrior. He does an excellent job. This movie feels like it could have been made in the 1970s. Good job, man. It was written by Michael Jai White, Scott Sanders, and Byron Menz. White is best known for Black Dynamite, Never Back Down, No Surrender, As Good as Dead, and Outlaw Johnny Black. Sanders is best known for TV work on A Different World and Rock, and the movies Thick as Thieves and Black Dynamite. And finally, Byron Menz is best known for Black Dynamite and Outlaw Johnny Black. It stars Michael Jai White, Sally Richardson Whitfield, Tommy Davidson, Byron Menz, and Kevin Chapman and Mike Starr. I'll do a good job with the material, but Michael Jai White as our protagonist has to do all the heavy lifting, and he is definitely up to the challenge. The man just oozes charisma in his role. I mean, come on, how can you not like this? The movie was rated R. There's lots of naughty language, some nudity, and comic violence. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 24 minutes, so it goes by rather quickly. It had a budget of $2.9 million, but it only had a limited release in which it earned a paltry $296,000, so it lost money. Oddly enough, even though it lost money, it did inspire the Cartoon Network to run 2 seasons of an animated series based on the movie on Adult Swim. It has a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, Metacritic has it at 65 out of 100, and Rotten Tomatoes has it at 83% per critics and 85% per audience scores. Aside from Metacritic, I tend to agree with these scores, and I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Once again, I say check it out. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time.
It's one small step for man,